This video will discuss the UK spouse visa processing time in 2026. As an immigration advice authority regulated UK immigration law firm that has helped more than 5,000 partners obtain their UK partner visas, we are exceptionally well placed to discuss this. We will look at both out-of-country applications, which are applications submitted from outside the UK, and in-country applications, which are applications submitted from inside the UK. I'll use the term spouse visa, but the same information applies to civil partners, fiancés, and unmarried partners. The processing time does not change by the relationship type. It depends mainly on whether the application is made from outside or from inside the UK. To make this as useful as possible, this video will cover 1. How to tell if your application is an out-of-country or an in-country application, 2. How the priority service works, and 3. When and how to follow up on your application and decision. We'll also touch on other key details you should know about the UK spouse visa processing time. If you already know whether your application will be an out-of-country or an in-country application, you can skip ahead using the timestamps in this video. And if you're unsure, it is important to clarify this early, as both the process and processing time depend on where the application is made. Here is a quick summary. If the applicant, the person applying, does not hold any UK visa, the application must be made from outside the UK. If the applicant is in the UK on a visitor visa, they must also apply from outside the UK. To apply from inside the UK, the applicant must already hold a visa valid for longer than 6 months, and it cannot be a visitor visa. The only exception is for those in the UK on a fiancé or proposed civil partnership visa who can apply from inside the UK. We explain this in more detail on our website, migrate.org.uk. The first half of this video covers the processing time for out-of-country applications, along with common questions and key points to consider. If your application is or was made from inside the UK, you can skip ahead to the in-country section using the timestamps in this video. For out-of-country applications, the standard UK spouse visa processing time is up to 12 weeks. While you should plan for the full 12 weeks, many applications are decided sooner. The processing time usually begins when the applicant attends the biometric appointment at the visa centre and ends when the Home Office makes a decision. A few key points are worth noting here. First, the country where the application is submitted does not affect the expected processing time. Secondly, the Home Office lists numerous situations where you might have to wait longer, such as if the Home Office is experiencing increased visa demand. Third, although the gov.uk website lists a 12-week processing time, this is not guaranteed. It's a target the Home Office aims to meet. If your application takes longer, you're not necessarily entitled to a refund of the Home Office fee, nor can you require them to decide within that timeframe. For the most up-to-date information, see our article on UK spouse visa processing times at migrate.org.uk. Now, let's talk about the priority service. Spouse or partner visa applicants who pay for the priority service can normally expect a decision within 30 working days. As mentioned in our spouse visa fees video and on migrate.org.uk, this service costs about £500 extra per applicant. The cost can vary, up to 5% more or less, depending on the currency conversion rate used, which often differs from Google's rate. The priority service is usually purchased through the VFS website. You'll be redirected there after submitting the online application by paying the Home Office fee. The online process keeps changing. Previously, the priority service could be bought directly on the Home Office payment page, shown alongside the standard option. As of this recording, it's no longer available there, though that may change in the future. According to the VFS website, even if the priority fee is paid, the application may take longer than 30 working days in certain situations. For example, if the applicant has previously been refused a UK visa, the case may be treated as non-straightforward and could exceed the 30-day window. However, if a past refusal was later overturned, it's more likely than not for the priority application to still be decided within the 30-day timeframe. Not all standard applications are finished within 12 weeks, and not all priority applications are decided within 30 working days. Let's look at what you can do if the standard application exceeds 12 weeks, or if the priority application takes longer than 30 working days. The first step is to Google Contact UKVI.gov.uk. You will find this webpage here, which will provide you with the appropriate contact details to contact them directly. If you do not get a satisfactory response, you can then consider reaching out to the sponsor's local MP. To find your local MP's contact details, you can Google Find Local MP in UK and then enter the sponsor's UK postcode or location. Alternatively, you may decide to make a complaint to the Home Office. To do so, you can find their complaints procedure by googling Complaint Home Office. The complaints procedure will then tell you the numerous ways you can make a complaint. However, it's important to note that none of these methods guaranteed a faster resolution, as the Home Office does not promise specific turnaround times. If your standard application hasn't yet exceeded 12 weeks, or if your priority application is still within 30 working days, contacting the Home Office, your MP, or filing a complaint is unlikely to speed things up. As stated on the gov.uk website, you do not need to contact UKVI to track your application if you've already made a visa application and it is still within the current processing times. We will not be able to provide information on the status of your application. An exception may apply in cases of serious compassion or urgency, such as a medical emergency. However, the threshold for these exceptions is high, and ordinary inconveniences or travel delays usually are not considered sufficient reasons for faster processing. This email is sent automatically, but its wording often confuses applicants. A common question is, we've already sent our supporting documents, does this mean that they were not received? The answer is not necessarily. If your documents have already been submitted, you do not need to do anything further when this email arrives. Another frequent question is, does this email show what stage the application is at? The answer is no, it's sent inconsistently, sometimes just days after the visa centre appointment, and other times months. From our experience handling thousands of partner visa applications, the timing of this email has no connection to when a decision will be made. You'll usually receive an email from the Home Office once a decision has been made on your application. Depending on your email provider, especially Hotmail or Outlook, these notices can land in the spam or junk folder. This email will contain a decision letter. Here is the decision letter my partner received very recently. I'm currently working on a video that documents the whole process from start to finish, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see it. We discuss the spouse and partner visa requirements and process in detail on our website, www.migrate.org.uk. The second half of this video focuses on the processing times for in-country spouse visa applications, meaning applications submitted from inside the UK. The standard processing time for in-country spouse visa applications is up to 8 weeks. If you choose to not opt for the super priority service, which we'll cover shortly, you should plan for the full 8 weeks, although many applications will be decided sooner. This timeframe is not guaranteed, it is simply a target the Home Office aims to meet. If your application takes longer, it does not necessarily entitle to a refund of the Home Office fee or the right to demand that the Home Office processes it within that period. If you choose the super priority service, the processing time is reduced to 1 working day for an extra £1,000 per applicant. For in-country applications with dependent children, the fees apply per applicant. This means that the Home Office fee, the Immigration Health Surcharge, and the super priority fee must each be paid for every child's application, just as with out-of-country applications. If you choose to pay for the super priority service, it can only be purchased on the payment page of the FLRM online application form, and it cannot be added later. If only the standard option appears, you may wish to check back periodically, provided the applicant's current visa expiry allows it, to see if the super priority service becomes available. The date you pay the standard or super priority Home Office fee is significant. This is known as the date of application and is the date on which the requirements must be met. For example, suppose the applicant's spouse visa expires on the 1st of June 2026 and they submit the new application by paying the Home Office fee on the 20th of May 2026. They meet the financial requirement using both employment income and cash savings. If they quit their job and spend their savings the next day, it will not affect the application. This is because those changes occurred after the date of application, the date the Home Office fees were paid online. Secondly, if the application is submitted before the applicant's visa or leave expires, the visa or leave that the applicant has at that point will be automatically extended until a decision has been made on the new application. This rule applies to other types of visas that allow an in-country application to be made. This is important to note because some partners mistakenly pay extra for the super priority service, thinking that their new spouse visa must be decided before the current visa expires. If your employer is unfamiliar with the immigration rules and is concerned about the applicant's visa expiring whilst the spouse visa application is being processed, you can show them the Section 3C guidance. It can be found by searching Section 3C Leave guidance.gov.uk on Google. The document looks like this. It's also important to note that if the applicant leaves the UK whilst the in-country spouse visa application is being processed, the application will be automatically withdrawn. So if you think that the applicant may need to travel during the 8-week processing period or slightly beyond, it may be worth considering the super priority service. Remember, the super priority option can only be selected when submitting the online application, so any potential travel plan should be considered before applying. Let's now look at when and how to follow up on an in-country partner visa application. If 8 weeks have not yet passed and there are no exceptional or compassionate reasons, such as a family illness, contacting the Home Office is unlikely to help. If your wait has exceeded 8 weeks, the first step is to Google contactukvi.gov.uk. You will find this webpage here, which will provide you with the appropriate contact details to contact them directly. If you do not get a satisfactory response, you can then consider reaching out to the sponsor's local MP. To find your local MP's contact details, you can Google Find Local MP in UK and then enter the sponsor's UK postcode or location. Alternatively, you may decide to make a complaint to the Home Office. To do so, you can find their complaints procedure by Googling Complain Home Office. The complaints procedure will then tell you the numerous ways you can make a complaint. However, it's important to note that none of these methods guaranteed a faster resolution, as the Home Office does not promise specific turnaround times. If you'd like more information about the UK spouse and partner visa requirements, or if you'd like help with your application, you can visit our website www.migrate.org.uk.